Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I have another video here. So if you haven't got a chance to, I'm hoping you got a chance to watch my life update video. It's actually turned out to be 30 minutes. It was supposed to just be part of an introductory video for the body care video or the candle empties video. Can't remember which one I did, but I ended up just making it into his own video because it got extremely long and I wanted to talk to you guys anyway. So make sure you check that out if you've been wondering where I've been. Other than that, let's get into this video. So the purpose of this video is to talk about the candles that I burned for the month of October. I don't think I've done an empties video on this channel since either April, May. I don't know. It's been at least a good 5-6 months. So we're gonna get right into it. I'll try my best to explain the candle, what I got from it, how it performs, and stuff like that. I have about 20 candles here, so this video is probably going to be at least 30 minutes long, just to let you know in advance. So if this is something that you are interested in hearing about, keep watching. A lot of some of this stuff is things that you may be able to get still. Some of these things are just scents that come back on a regular. Some of these companies may not be in existence. It really just depends. And some people have been lucky to find some of these out in rare spaces, and I'll mention those as I go along. Okay. All right, let's get into it. So the candles I'm going to start with actually first is Kringle, and then I'll just randomly pick what we're going to start with. So the first candle we're going to start with is Kringle's Candy Corn. Now we just take the lid. This has scent notes of rich caramel, golden honey, sweet praline, nutmeg, cinnamon, creamy vanilla, and toasted almond. So a lot of people said that this smelled like another candle that was similar. Was it the morning cartoons? I think so. But the difference with this one and the morning cartoons is that this has caramel in it. It has almond in it. It still has that toast. It's like a little toastiness to it from the almond. You still get a sweet praline crunch and bite to this. There's that creamy vanilla here and hints of nutmeg. But again, this is very similar to morning cartoons in my opinion. I recently purchased the newer version of candy corn, and I heard it's a little different. I'm not sure on that. I haven't got a chance to. Actually, no. I take that back. I did burn that one after I finished this one, because I think I actually finished this one before I ordered that one. Yeah, so I did burn this one. I'm sorry. I mean, the newer one. But again, I mean, they tried to come as close to the candy. I feel like from the amount of candy corn that I've ate, I can specifically say that they almost have gotten this on the nose. You know, I don't know what everyone else is looking for from this, but I feel like this is mostly close to being authentically candy corn. I do have a version of candy corn from Slacken & Co. in this empties video as well, and you'll see that once we get to it. So that is candy corn. Next up on my empties list, I have a scent called Midnight Garden. This is also from Kringle as well, and that is what she looks like. So that is Midnight Garden. I chose to burn this one even though this was released in the spring reserve line release in 22. I decided to go ahead and burn this around Halloween. It just gave me much more of a spookier vibe and placement for the October month. And the notes here are bergamot, orange zest, and black rose. The mint notes are black tea, bayberry, and eucalyptus. And the base is amber, vanilla, and cedar. This was very much a confusing candle. When I first started burning this, it used to make me think that it smelled like that candle Manhattan, which absolutely is a repulsive to me. It just, oh my God, it smells so disgusting. And to me, this is kind of like how that was leaning at first. And the more I got into this, the more that I burnt it, the better it became. The bergamot took a back seat to the black rose. The black teas started coming forward with the bayberry and eucalyptus to create this outdoorsy atmosphere. And some points I was getting amber, vanilla, a little bit of woody cedar at the base. But again, this was like a top to mid-range type of candle where it was balancing back between the bergamot, the rose, the black tea, and the bayberry. Again, like I said, I appreciate the black rose coming through much more as this burned. However, I'm not in a rush to repurchase this. It's sold out, but it just wasn't something that I really needed to have or would ever really be like rushing to get another one of. It was okay. I didn't really, I wasn't over the moon crazy about it. So there is that one. Okay, you guys, the next candle that we're going to focus on is called Fire from Kringle. This was an original release from 22 as well, and part of their first release of Kringle Candle Reserves. Midnight Garden is also part of the original release in the first year of the Kringle Reserves, just so you guys know. So here we have Fire. And the scent notes are glowing embers and warm spices. The mid notes are smoke, cedar, and cade. And the base notes are amber, vanilla, and sandalwood. This was actually very gorgeous. Oh my gosh. It like literally comes off smelling like a leather, wood, charred wood, just an actual, like if a fire had a scent note or a fire had a scent, this is what it would be. I know this is weird, but I don't know. It's that like the cade is coming through fantastically, mingling quite well with the cedar and the warm. It's just warm. And again, this came out like, was it the summer, early summer of 22, something like that. And it was probably part of the summer reserve launch if it came out there early. Because from the bottom, it looked like it was poured in May. So it probably was like a early summer release. And I automatically knew once I burnt it and smelled it, I was like, oh, this is a really good October scent. This is a scent that I would want to burn during the Halloween time. I don't know what it is about, embers and cedar and warm spices and stuff like that. Patchouli, dark scents that I love to burn in October. I don't really want to burn anything else but those scents. And so therefore, that is where we're basically at with the scent of Fire. Again, I'm just very pleasantly surprised at how much I ended up enjoying it. I think a lot of people didn't like it. Also, the throat on it was a medium. It wasn't super strong. It didn't smell like something was burning in your house. It didn't smell like burning leather. It literally smelled like if you went to a leather factory, smelled fresh leather press coats. But then somebody's wearing this leather jacket outside in the cold weather. You can smell the leather wafting while the fire is burning with the charred wood in the background. That's literally what this smells like to me. It just was very outdoorsy, sweetened up by that vanilla, by that amber, that sandalwood. I love the scent. It hasn't been back in a long time. Bonfire is out, and I don't know if Bonfire took the place of Fire, but I feel like this is much better than Bonfire. Don't get me wrong. I like Bonfire, but I like this one better. I don't know. Again, maybe it's the cade, it's the cedar. There's something about this that I absolutely love. And again, it's warm embers and just, I hate some of y'all can't experience it, but I emptied it. I moved on with my life because, again, I own Bonfire, so that suffices. And then I have other scents from Bath & Body Works and stuff that has like that firewoody, outdoorsy essence to it. So that's that one. All right. Next up, we have Poison Apple, and this is not the same Poison Apple that was just out this year. However, they returned this scent, and so it came back out. I decided I was going to burn this one and finish it and repurchase the newer version, which I burnt as well. And they smelled exactly the same to me, no difference. Poison Apple has top notes of apple and bergamot, mid notes of apple blossom, some lily of the valley and jasmine, and base notes of amber, vanilla, and wood. Now, to give you an idea of kind of like where the apple bergamot is, it's the same type of apple bergamot that you had in Bath & Body Works Candy Apple Cauldron. So that crispy crunch, wet type of apple. That's what this is. I didn't pick up on any floral version of apple, but I'm pretty sure that apple blossom assisted in giving this apple a true essence of smelling apple-ish and off the vine. The bergamot added to this a little bit more on almost like this almost kind of gave me formaldehyde type of scent. So I guess the poison apple really is a thing. If it was poison, then they hit it on the mark, because there was something off-putting about the apple note. So no, it wouldn't smell like candy apple. No, it wouldn't smell like Honeycrisp apple from Bath & Body Works. No, apple harvest or anything of those type of apples where they smell fresh and crisp and crunchy and juicy. No, this literally had a dangerous contour to it based off of the notes. I feel like the lily of the valley and the jasmine kind of added to that in a way when they mixed with the apple blossom, that kind of helped guide this to that poisoned nuance, if you will. I know it sounds kind of weird, but trust me when I say there's a formaldehyde cut into this. And again, I'm not sure exactly what is doing that, but they made this smell just like a poison apple. Like literally like poison. Yeah. Yep. It burned quite well. It was a medium as well. Fire was a medium as well. Midnight Garden was a medium. Candy corn was a medium. So all of those were medium throws in an open concept, and they filled the bedroom nicely with no issue. So there is those 4 candles that I got from Kringle, that I got finished with Kringle. And next up, we're going to talk about Scentworks from Slatkin & Co. All right, you guys, I am back, and we're going to get started with the Scentworks portion of this video. So the first candle that I emptied was Hot Apple Cider, and that's what that looks like. Scent notes are Honeycrisp cider, brown sugar, golden pear, and autumn spice. This literally smells like pre-made applesauce that someone added apple cider to with the brown sugar, and it says Honeycrisp cider, so I'm guessing that the apples are already mushed up and they've got the cider going and they've added the brown sugar. And then there's this pear note that kind of gives it a little bit of this golden honey touch, and there's a spice note that most likely is autumn spice, most likely autumn spice. The autumn spice is most likely cinnamon, nutmeg type of vibe. That's literally what this smells like. And I'm sorry I'm not in front of the camera smelling these. I'm smelling them off camera, so kind of give you an idea of what I was smelling. But burning, it just smelled like a hot pressed apple cider that someone had just created. You went to the cider mill and got you some hot apple cider in some cold weather. So that is hot apple cider from Scentworks. Next up, we have pumpkin candy corn, and that's what that looks like. And the scent notes on this one are candied pumpkin, caramel corn, maple syrup, and powdered sugar. Now, in contrast to the Kringle version of candy corn, this is heavier on maple syrup. You don't get praline. You do not get any nutmeg. This one is far from being authentic to candy corn compared to Kringle's version. This is leaning much more heavy and dependent on that caramel corn, more so on the maple syrup. And you do get this spiced pumpkin into it, but again, not authentic to what I was looking for out of this. I preferred Kringle's candy corn over the pumpkin candy corn from Scentworks. This one actually came back in the new format. I heard Miss Marie had bought it. She said it didn't perform. She didn't think it was authentic. I think it's been a while, Miss Marie, since I've seen that video, because I think you did that video a couple months ago. So it's been a while since I've seen that video. But I could have swore you said that, of course, it didn't perform. I know you said that. And I agree with you on that. That entire vessel is just trash. I don't know why they didn't keep these or reinvent these in some kind of way. These are luxury looking. And I know people say that these didn't perform, but in my opinion, they perform better than the crap that's out now. As far as the burn quality, not scorching the wax. Like, I can literally show you the inside of the wax and how clean the wax looks. I don't know if you can see that, but that wax is looking pretty clean, in my opinion. A little bit of slippage at the top, but I mean, when candles get to the bottom, they start having a little bit of slippage at the bottom. That is something that's always going to happen no matter who you burn, 100% soy or not. So that's just that. But unfortunately, not really a repurchase. I wouldn't repurchase it even if it was in this vessel, because of the simple fact that, well, it's just not something that I really care too much for. And it was enjoyable, but then it started getting on my nerve and I was ready for it to be over. So that is that one. Next up, we have spiced pumpkin apple, and that's what that looks like. And scent notes are spiced pumpkin, apple, ginger, and cinnamon. This one smells like Bath & Body Works pumpkin apple. And in some cases, some people may find it to smell a lot better than pumpkin apple from Bath & Body Works. But literally, this is just a good version of pumpkin apple, not as strong. If you're somebody who's into the Scentworks candles, then this would have worked for you if you were not into the Bath & Body Works one. I really like the fact their take on getting the apple correct, adding a little bit of that spice. Again, it's pumpkin spice. It's not really pumpkin. And then cinnamon. I don't remember ginger being such a thing here. But now that I'm smelling it on cold, I do smell the ginger a little more. But, I mean, I don't think it contributed to the spiciness of this candle. It was pretty much a good burn. It threw well in open concept. And I would repurchase spiced pumpkin apple again from Scentworks. But because of the vessel is in, not really. But I would recommend it to you. If you don't like the strength of pumpkin apple from Bath & Body Works and want something a little more mellow, that was a good idea to have. Next up, we're going to talk about toasted pumpkin s'mores, and that's what that looks like. And this has scent notes of pumpkin puree, fluffy marshmallow, white chocolate, and toasted graham cracker. This one, again, before pumpkin s'mores from Bath & Body Works, is like that one exactly. Just like toasted s'mores from Bath & Body Works. Just the same concept, the chocolate, the marshmallow, the graham cracker note. But in this one, you can equally smell graham cracker, chocolate, and a creamy fluffiness from the marshmallow. I personally like this one. It wasn't as, you know how some chocolate is just so strong, it smells like burnt coffee or something like that. That wasn't the case in this toasted pumpkin s'mores. It was just a lot smoother and easier, maybe because it was white chocolate and not regular fudge chocolate or dark chocolate or anything like that, that have like that cocoa bean turned up and amped up times 20. I really did enjoy it. I'm glad that the graham cracker had a presence you can pick up on. I'm not saying it was super strong, but it was there. And I really enjoyed it, and I thought it played a great part. So yes, if I actually had two of these, this is the second one. It burned clean, brown wax. burnt really clean. Still smells very good, even down to its last. But, yep, that is toasted pumpkin s'mores. Next up, we have vanilla sugar from Scentworks, and that's just a plain jar. They made some scents that had like this boring, plain looking labels. I think that was because some of them were meant to just be like year-round scents, and this was one of them and part of it. But a lot of people went crazy over vanilla sugar, and the scent notes are vanilla, succulent fig, spun sugar, and coconut cream. There is a Homeworks candle called Spun Vanilla Sugar. This is similar to that, but that one from Homeworks is a lot better, a lot sweeter, a lot nicer, a lot smoother. This literally just smells like a vanilla creamy, sugared type of scent. I don't really pick up fig. I don't really get coconut cream. I just really get vanilla and sugar. It's literally all I get. So nothing special about this one. Will not be a repurchase for me. So that's that one. And last in the Scentworks collection for this month is a white pumpkin and chai. And the scent notes for this one is white pumpkin, spiced tea leaves, nutmeg, and vanilla froth. When I tell y'all this candle started getting on my nerve, it started getting on my nerve, y'all. This candle was so strong. By the way, vanilla sugar was not that strong. But this one, out of all of them, this was the strongest and the one I hated the most. Oh, I can't even smell this on cold. When this was burning, honey, it smelled like somebody was cooking the tea and forgot the tea was on, and it started overcooking the tea leaves. And then they added vanilla froth, and then it smelled like the vanilla froth started going bad and was boiling too long. They didn't, because the vanilla froth was supposed to be added in once the tea cooled down a little bit to give it the creaminess, but instead they put the vanilla froth inside of the boiling hot water where the tea leaves were at. And it was like, yup. It did not smell nothing like Bath & Body Works White Pumpkin that I think I heard some people saying, because Bath & Body Works White Pumpkin is a chai type of scent. Nowhere near. White Pumpkin is superior to this. I mean, I could see where this could be an iteration or a take on Bath & Body Works White Pumpkin. I honestly knew from the start that this scent was not for me on cold, but I went ahead and bought it anyway, because I'm not going to lie to y'all. When they first released the fall versions, because this is like the second year in a row that I think a lot of these end up coming out. When they first brought out the fall ones, I hated every single one on cold, and I just didn't get them. And then it came back around and came out the following year, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to pick some up. And so I picked these up, and I still didn't like this one on cold. It's another one I didn't like on cold, but it actually surprised me. And we'll talk about that in November. But that one there, that white pumpkin chai right there, honey, y'all, if you are into that tea and putting vanilla froth in your hot tea that's still boiling because you like that, that's for you, honey, but not me. I am not going for it. Not me. So y'all can keep that over there. So that is the Scentworks candles from Slack & Co. Now we're going to talk about 3 Homeworks candles that I finished. I will say that 2 of these came from TJ Maxx, Home Goods, or Marshalls. I'm not sure. One of these was the e-commerce candle and was sent to me. So let's talk about the ones I got from TJ Maxx first. So the first one I got from TJ Maxx was this pumpkin caramel corn. This has scent notes of buttery caramel, pumpkin spice, and freshly popped corn. I liked this one to a certain degree. It was okay. It wasn't the greatest. Like, have you ever been around somebody who pops popcorn and has those different seasonings, and they put it on the popcorn to give it flavor, and you eat it, and the first grouping of popcorn that you grab is just too salty That's what this smells like to me when it was burning. It was caramel. It was buttery caramel. Then I got the pumpkin spice, and it smelled like the pumpkin spice was just too salty on top of the popcorn that already had salt on top. Then there's like this underlying caramel note that's not listed here that I'm sure it's under this here, and that was coming through, and that was sickening sweet. This scent was actually quite strong, and I think that's why I didn't like it, because it was so strong that it just made everything that was already salty extremely salty. Girl, I thought I was eating this for real. My lips was puckering. When I tell y'all I hate burnt this, I hate burnt this so dang on much. I didn't even let the wick clips, I didn't even let it get to the wick clips. I think I stopped it before the wick clips started showing up. And you can see that it wasn't a great burn anyway. A lot of wick wax residue on the side. I actually had to keep dumping out wax on this one a little bit because it wouldn't burn properly. And what's sad is I bought 5 of these. I bought 5 of these because people raved about this. And it smelled good on cold when I bought it. And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm going to enjoy this. But now I hate I have 5 of these. I burnt, I think, 2 or 3. And I still own 2. Girl, I might sell them. I don't know. But again, not a fan. Not a huge fan of pumpkin caramel corn. And as you can see, there's a trend here with things that I don't like. I don't know, like caramel, popcorn, frenzy. That's just not me. I don't know, girl. But that is that one. So we'll move that to the side. The next one I burnt, which was just, oh my God, it was so annoying. And I will make sure I stick to the e-commerce or QVC in the future. This beauty, spiced buttered rum, or spiced butter rum. This has scent notes of spiced rum, warm apple butter, vanilla, and maple sugar. I know, right? The notes are just perfection. Oh, it smells so good. It's so creamy. It's spicy, but it's like a sweet, sugary spice. It's maple. You get the rum. It literally smells like somebody poured a glass of rum, then added some maple, added some vanilla, added some sweet cinnamon and sugar, and then a little bit of apple butter, and mixed it all up, warmed it up, and then poured you a glass. That's literally what this smells like. It was creamy and delicious, and it actually had a medium throw. However, girl, this is burned. Look at this. Look at that. Can you see that? Those wicks are so tiny. They wouldn't stay lit. It wouldn't stay lit. It wouldn't stay lit. It wouldn't stay lit. And I would say, how much wax is left in here? I would say I probably got a good amount of wax still here. So I burned most of this candle. But again, this was another candle I got from TJ Maxx. So just if you are not aware, when TJ Maxx get candles, please do not get excited about it. Yes, they are at a great value. Yes, they are. But most of those candles that make it to TJ Maxx, Home Goods, and Marshalls are rejects. And instead of getting rid of the candles, Homeworks wants to make sure they make a bidding money off of everything. So they sell it to the person who may not be into candles, who wouldn't suspect, or, you know, may not be a huge candle burner. It may come off strong, but it's the quality of the burn that's the issue. It wasn't the scent. I bet you any money, the reason why these 2 batches made it to the discount stores is because it wasn't the scent throw that was the issue. It was the burns. Like, you see the pumpkin caramel corn? That was ridiculous. If you knew how much wax I poured off of that one, you would understand. Same thing with the spiced butter rum. I poured off a great deal of wax. A great deal of wax. So that was, you know, something else that was just irritating. So just a word of advice. Don't jump on the hype train for finding candles at TJ Maxx. Don't get me wrong. There have been some fabulous ones I've gotten from there, but most of everything that I've gotten burns terrible. All right. The last candle from Homeworks, Poisoned Apple. This has scent notes of glazed candy apple, roasted pear, white musk, and forest woods. This one burned flawlessly with no issues and was strong. This literally smelled like a candy apple, for those who are wondering or were looking for a good candy apple. It had a great coating of candied apple. It didn't smell as poison as Kringle's poison apple, but it literally smelled like a great candied apple. Bright and juicy, crunchy take on the coating of candy apple. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't too poisoned, it wasn't over the top, and it had great strength and throw and performed well. So if anybody talks to you about that candle, I say get it. It was a favorite, and I will definitely repurchase it. All right, y'all, we are getting down to the nitty-gritty portion of this video. And so we're gonna try to get through the little last bit. I have some Bath and Body Works candles to get through here. So I'm just trying to get them all situated, and then we'll get started. Well, most of these were like early to mid to late fall, but I pulled a lot of these out because I have multiples from the same season, and I decided to just burn one of each of the multiples every month of fall. So I didn't do a September empty, so you wouldn't know, but I will tell you which ones that I basically have multiples of and have been burning basically every month. But let's start with the mahogany apple. That's what that looks like. That is the packaging, and that is the label. And the notes for mahogany apple are red mahogany woods, golden delicious apple, pink peppercorn, and fresh lavender sprigs. This is a phenomenal candle. If you are not hip to it, it's a very masculine take on mahogany and apple together. Adding that fresh lavender sprig, you definitely pick out the lavender in this, kind of give it this fresh, outdoorsy smell to it. It smells like a delicious apple and some woody notes to it. It's very much masculine, fresh, outdoorsy. A great scent for that early to mid fall time. So there is that. And of course it performed really nicely, strong. I don't know how the newer versions are performing, but this version performed quite strong. All right, next up we have Sweater Weather, and that's what that looks like. This was from the fall 2019 collection. And that's how that looks. Nice, pretty teal, dark teal colored wax. Scent notes are fresh sage, juniper berry, aromatic eucalyptus, and fresh woods. I tend to burn this later in the fall, October, November time. This is two of the ones that I got from that year. I'm not sure if it was a third one. There's a possibility it was a third one. I just can't remember. Actually, no, it was three. It was three. Yeah, it was three. But this one, of course, is very much like it says, aromatic eucalyptus, very fresh, outdoorsy, sagey type of scent with a woody background. This is a gorgeous scent. If you've never tried it, I say do so. It's very strong. This one's strong. It had the same type of lid as mahogany apple, and they're from the same collection. So again, yes to this. Yes, yes, yes. A recommendation through and through. So I'm going to just put those up there. Next up and last in the collection that I with the mahogany apple and the Sweater Weather, we have Crisp Morning Air, and that's what that looks like. And same exact lid. This candle has not returned in a while. The scent notes here are crisp fall breeze, white oak, golden amber wood, saffron, and soft sandalwood. This scent hasn't really returned. I think the last iteration I saw of this was from 22. And I kind of regret burning this one now because, I haven't seen, or was it 23? I know it's been a couple of years since we've seen Crisp Morning Air. But again, that outdoorsy, fresh air, aromatic type of scent. The difference between this one and Sweater Weather literally is that white oak wood and amber wood with saffron and sandalwood. This is much more wood based, while Sweater Weather is more of an outdoorsy, fresh air type of scent because of the juniper berry, the eucalyptus, and the sage. So much more on that green outdoor feeling, while this one is much more focused on like that wood and outdoor base. Very much a great, crispy, fresh air quality. This kind of gives you an idea of your first type of cold air in the fall, where you might see your breath in the morning, a little fresh air, the sun is out, the leaves are all changed colors, but they haven't quite fallen off the trees, versus Sweater Weather, which is when the leaves and stuff actually fall off the trees, but the sun is still gleaming through there, and the sun is much more hitting the wood and shining through the wood. That's kind of like where we're at right now. It's November. This is very much Sweater Weather, and we're almost past that because we had a little bit of snow the other day, and then that melted right away because it was too warm for it to stick, so it melted. And then we're kind of warming back up, and we're getting back into those temperatures where it's not cold weather, but it's Sweater Weather. So there's that. Next up, I'm going to talk about pumpkin pecan waffles. So this is the second one I burnt this season, and I will be burning another one in November. Pumpkin pecan waffles is maple syrup, golden waffles, pumpkin spice, and brown sugar. This iteration was actually very much on par for what I want from this candle. It didn't have that salty, pecan, nutty, burnt smell. I actually got most of those golden warm waffles, that brown sugar to sweeten it up, and the pumpkin spice that goes along with it. The brown sugar didn't smell burnt or anything. It went smoothly well with this candle. And I know pecans is not actually in the notes, but nobody can convince me otherwise that there is not a salty nut quality to this candle. So there is that iteration of pumpkin pecan waffles, and like I said, you will see another version popping up in my November empties. Next up, I couldn't wait to burn this, the Perfect Autumn. And this has scent notes of fresh cranberry, spiced pumpkin, crisp apple, and rich clove. This is literally the epitome of all the main scents that make up fall. And I also wanted to point out that the brown stuff that you see there, that is scent oil. This one was quite strong. This one was quite strong. This one was not. It was quite weak, actually. This one had a burn performance at the end where the wicks got really just bad, and that's how the burn went. So I just decided, hey, I have enough of these. I don't have to deal with that. This one burned good, and these are the thin flat wicks, by the way. So if you were interested, this collection had the thin flat wicks in it from both candles. So just want to point that out. But again, they burnt okay. This one burnt weird at the end. This one burnt good, but they both threw. So I just wanted to say that the Perfect Autumn is a great mixture of apple and pumpkin spice and cranberry. Just gorgeous and delicious and juicy, and just, in my opinion, when they call it the Perfect Autumn, it is literally the epitome of fall. And anything similar, if you're a Yankee Candle lover, it's very much on par with Cranberry Chutney from Yankee Candle, because I had that one too and smelled it, and everything in there literally the same exact thing. So if you are much more Yankee Candle lover versus Bath & Body Works, that's literally what that is. The next one that I've been burning, I burnt in September, burnt for October, currently burning now in November, and you'll see that in the November empties. But right now, I burnt this and finished in October. This is Sweet Cinnamon Pumpkin. This was actually part of a Thanksgiving collection that I had, that came out in 2019 as well. I miss them doing the real Thanksgiving collections, but I mean, they have one out now, but if you know, you know. Warm cinnamon, fresh ground clove, vanilla cream, and brown sugar. This one burned fantastic. It's sweet cinnamon pumpkin. I really don't have to go in that depth with this one. It literally smells like the carving part or the flesh of the pumpkin, in my opinion, with a clovey background and some cinnamon. Not as authentically pumpkin as pumpkin carving is to me, but it's still up there with its cloviness and its cinnamon, and then having that cream and brown sugar. I honestly wish they would make this one smell much more on par with the actual body care. Even though I bought this year's body care and it don't smell nothing like any of the sweet cinnamon pumpkins I've had in the past. It smelled spicier and not that sweet, beautiful, gourmandish, sweet cinnamon pumpkin that I'm used to in body care. Because the candle and the body care have always been different. But for some reason, I don't know. But I am currently burning another version of sweet cinnamon pumpkin, so you'll see that coming up in the empties. And I'm sorry this video is so long, but I wasn't expecting it to be. Next and last, we have Harvest Gathering, and it's from that same collection of the sweet cinnamon pumpkin I just showed you. And the scent notes are fresh picked apples, autumn berries, clove, and clove buds. This one is, oh my gosh, a heavier direct take on apples and autumn berries instead of cranberry. So if you like perfect autumn with the cranberry, the pumpkin spice, and the apple and with clove, you will like. If you didn't like that pumpkin in there and the cranberry, this one is an alternative for anybody who's looking for something a little much more sweeter and still have a pumpkin, not an apple, a derivative, and no pumpkin. I would say this is closer to pumpkin apple, but has berries, if that makes sense. This is literally pumpkin apple with a berry note and clove, in my opinion. That's what this reminds me of. When burning, it doesn't really smell like that, but right now on cold, it does. But burning, the berries come through more. They're a lot more on the juicier, darker side with the apple. And then the clove adds a spice to it, which I'm here for. So that is Harvest Gathering. All in all, you guys, that is it for the candles that I burned for the month of October. I know it's not a lot of spooky scents that I finished. However, I did burn a lot of spooky stuff. When I tell you, I burned so much spooky stuff. Everything that Kringle brought out for Halloween this year, I own and I burned, and I enjoyed everything. And that includes stuff that I already owned. So I'm very much happy with that. I did burn Eva Queen and Maleficent and Candy Apple Cauldron and Vampire Blood from Bath & Body Works, but almost everything was Kringle heavy. October is mostly, Kringle owns October for me in this household. They're the candles I will burn the most. I know you're like, well, it's not reflected in your empties. That's because, honey, I wasn't trying to finish them, but I still was enjoying them. I burnt the things I was trying to get out of my collection, though. I mean, this collection is 6 years old. Like, all of these, they're 6 years old. It's time for them to go and get out of the collection. So the 8 candles that the 7 candles I burnt from Bath & Body Works for fall in the month of October are all from the fall 2019 season. It's just time to get them out. And these are candles scents that I have multiples of and come back every year. So it's no use in holding on to them. However, I am burning through candles that aren't really coming back. So I'm burning them slowly, but eventually they'll turn up in empties as well. But other than that, you guys, thank you for checking out my video. Sorry it was this longer than what I expected, but I haven't talked to you guys in a while, and I wanted to really go into depth of each candle and how they performed for me. So other than that, I will talk to you guys soon, and have a great rest of your day.